Hello, and welcome to Entangled, the podcast where we explore the science of consciousness, the true nature of reality, and what it means to be a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm your host, Jordan Youkilis, and in this episode, I'm joined by Brad Yates, founder of Tap with Brad. In this conversation, Brad describes his journey from actor to hypnotherapist to coaching with the healing modality of tapping. Brad explains how tapping helped cure his chocolate cravings and the relationship between tapping, acupuncture, and energy meridians. Next, we discuss emotional freedom techniques and how tapping serves to relieve stress. We then talk about the reluctance of Western medicine to incorporate Eastern energy healing and proceed with a live demonstration of tapping, which Brad considers a form of energy hygiene. We experiment with tapping as a means of breaking addiction. We consider the importance of loving yourself and of integrating your spiritual and physical bodies. Brad highlights how self-sabotage is simply a misguided form of self-love. We then discuss the release of trauma at subluxated points in the nervous system with a specific focus on the connection between my right foot and feelings of wrath. We consider how we humans have a tendency to push people away from us as a defense mechanism. We end the discussion on God, love, and worthiness. This outro is titled Tapping Emotional Freedom Techniques. Music from the show is available on the Spotify playlist Entangled the Vibes. If you like the show, please drop a 5-star review and subscribe on Substack, Spotify, X, Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please enjoy the episode. Brad Yates, welcome to the Entangled podcast this afternoon.
Thanks, Jordan. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have the opportunity to interview you today. Really excited to learn about all the amazing work that you've been doing over the last several decades, working with the tapping technique and all of that great stuff. So maybe to kick things off, would love to learn a little bit more about your personal history and what your life's journey looked like.
Yeah, so I actually started out as an actor, and I had traveled the world doing theater, and then went to Hollywood to be a movie star, as one does. And while I was there, I met this woman, fell in love, got married. And when our first child was on the way, I thought I might need a backup career to help support this family. So, I'd played a doctor on TV, but not enough to support a family. So I had always been interested in the power of the mind, and I saw this ad for hypnotherapy school, and I thought, hey, that would be a cool side gig. So I started doing that, and for a while building my hypnotherapy practice while also doing the struggling actor thing. And after a couple of years, when our second child was on the way, I realized that as much as I loved acting, personal development work was really my calling. It was just much more fulfilling for me personally. And so we left Los Angeles and moved to Northern California. And through some other hypnotherapists, I heard about this energy psychology conference where this guy was doing this tapping process. And I thought, okay, that sounds interesting, and learned DFT, found it fascinating, started incorporating it a little bit into my hypnotherapy practice. And then little by little over time, it became my main modality.
Wow.
And then YouTube came along, and I thought, hey, it would be great if there was a YouTube video that people could start their day with, and I'll call it Tap in the Morning. And it was all I intended to do was that one video. And then 6 months later, I thought, well, I should probably have a video to end the day, and I'll call it Tap of the Evening, and then I'm done. And then I had another idea, and now 17 years later, I've got over 1,200 videos. So,
wow,
and there we are.
That's incredible. So maybe to start with, would love to talk about your work in hypnotherapy. I think that's a space that still gets a decent amount of pushback from folks who are still in that kind of traditional Western mindset of mental health and, physiology and all of that. So could you help the audience understand, how you got comfortable with that modality and maybe debunk some of the myths around it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had first been learning about hypnotherapy probably when I was in high school. So I'd always been interested in it and hadn't really explored it until much later on. And yeah, there is pushback because a lot of folks feel like it's mind control and there's something evil about it or something sinister. And it's not that at all. It's just a matter of relaxing the mind to a place where it's more open to suggestion, but we're not able to change people's morality or have them do things that feel wrong to them. And I could say, well, I got out of hypnotherapy because of the pushback, but that wouldn't make any sense because tapping on your face is not more acceptable by most people. So there's pushback on that one too, but because these techniques are so beneficial, I just keep at it.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And so what was it about tapping that attracted you to the modality?
Well, in that first workshop that I did, it was a day-long workshop with Gary Craig, the founder of Emotional Freedom Techniques. And he, at one point during the day, passed out chocolate and asked people, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much would you like this? And I was a bit of a chocoholic at the time. And I'm like, 8, 9. And he just had us tap for a few minutes on, even though I really want this chocolate, it's going to taste so good, etc. And after just a couple of minutes, I couldn't eat the chocolate. I had about as much interested in the chocolate as I did the foil wrapper. It's like, no, I couldn't even. He said, take a bite out of it. I could not take a bite out of it. It was disgusting. And I didn't eat chocolate for 2 years after that. Wow. Now, I recovered, but but it's something that I can use at any time to clear cravings. So at that moment, and obviously at that moment I didn't know, wow, I'm not going to eat chocolate for 2 years, but I could tell at that moment, whereas one moment I really wanted to eat it, and now it was impossible to do so, that there was really something interesting about this. And a lot of the other things that we covered throughout that day. So started experimenting with it, and it really puts the technique in the person's own hands, I mean, literally and figuratively, unlike hypnosis where, someone can't just call me up at any time and say, hey, Brad, I'm really struggling. Can you put me into a trance right now? But they can tap at any time. So it's right there at their own fingertips. And I really liked that. I liked the fact that it's done at a more conscious level, even though it has all kinds of subconscious benefits, just like hypnosis.
Yeah. Interesting. So I mean, tapping, I think the name is probably relatively self-explanatory, but I mean, what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so we are quite literally tapping with our fingertips on different points of the body. And these are points that have been used in acupuncture. So the origins of tapping is from acupuncture. For thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways that are called meridians. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being physically and emotionally. When this energy gets blocked or disrupted in some way, we don't feel as good, we don't think as clearly, we don't make the best choices, and it has all kinds of unfortunate consequences for us. So around about 1980, a psychologist named Roger Callahan was working with a woman with a lifelong water phobia. And he had been working with her for some time. She'd seen other therapists throughout her life. And he had been learning about acupressure. And he said one day, what is the physical experience of this phobia? And she said, well, mostly it's a knot in my stomach. And I said, okay, let's see if we can at least do something about a knot in your stomach. And let's see, there's this point under the eye that's on the stomach meridian line. Let's just tap there. And she tapped there for a moment, and she said, it's gone. And he said, what's gone? She said, the fear. And runs out of the house towards a swimming pool. And he's running after her saying, wait, stop. And she goes, it's okay. I know I don't know how to swim because she's had this all her life. But she was able to get down by the pool and splash water on her face. And she said, I feel fine, which she had never been able to do. So naturally, Dr. Callahan thought, that's very interesting. And I just tapped under her eye for a moment, and this lifelong water phobia is gone. And he started experimenting with different patients and found that with different issues, he would tap different points in different sequences. And sometimes he'd get fast results. Sometimes the results took longer. But within a year, he'd put himself out of business because all of his weekly clients were now saying, "Hey, I'm fine, doc. See ya."
Wow.
So he started teaching this process, which he called thought field therapy. And it involved these different algorithms using different points for different issues. And then one of his first students was this gentleman, Gary Craig. And Gary had his degree in engineering from Stanford. So he's looking at this complicated system of algorithms and points and figured, okay, there's only 8 points that we're using. What if we just tapped all 8 points from top to bottom instead of trying to figure out which 3 or 4 in which sequence? And found he got the same great results with this process. So we called the streamlined process emotional freedom techniques. And it has been used on all kinds of things. The catchphrase is try it on everything. Because what we found, and there's a growing body of scientific research on the benefits of tapping, primarily as a stress relief technique. The tapping on these points sends a calming signal to the brain, takes us out of fight or flight, puts us into the parasympathetic nervous system, brings our thinking back into the prefrontal cortex, the higher functioning part of our brain. And when you consider that most, if not all of the issues that trouble us, physically and emotionally, are either caused by or at least worsened by stress, then you can see where a stress relief technique like this can be so beneficial in so many areas of life.
Absolutely. And I've never experimented with tapping myself, but I cannot wait to try. But I've been doing chiropractic for about a year now, and it has completely revolutionized my life in ways that I can't even begin to explain. So maybe just, as you talk about this idea of energy flow, how should people think about, how their body actually works, right? And why it's so important to move that energy in an efficient manner.
Yeah, well, everything is energy. So we're completely made up of energy, and we know that this energy moves through us. We have all kinds of circulatory systems of things moving through our bodies. But acupuncture's been around for thousands of years, but there are now more modern research on the premovascular system showing that there are energy pathways through the fascia in our skin, and just moving that. So often we just work with talk therapy and we just talk about ideas as though all of the things that stop us are just going on between our ears, when in fact the things that stop us are in our bodies. So, for instance, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who's one of the premier specialists in terms of trauma, his book is called "The Body Keeps the Score." So, if the body's keeping the score, just dealing with the mind is only going to do just so much. So, tapping on these energy points and moving that energy through allows us to reach where we're holding on to trauma, where we're holding on to old beliefs and old fears. So, when we have an emotion, when we're looking at maybe trying to make a change in our lives, or trying to go to a higher level of consciousness, there's a part of us that says, yeah, that sounds great on paper, but it's change. And as human beings, we like the idea of change consciously, but unconsciously, it's the enemy. We want things exactly the way they are, the way we know them, because even if our lives are crap, it's our crap. We know where it goes. I handled it yesterday. I'm pretty sure I can handle it today. I'm not so sure about something different. So when I'm trying to make some sort of change, then I'm going to have a stress response, and I might not be consciously aware of it. I'm just going to stop myself in all kinds of subtle ways from moving forward. And so that stress shows up in different parts of our body. And so that's why we want to be shifting that energy and allowing ourselves that freedom to say, oh, okay, I don't feel stuck now. And actually, I could take action on this idea.
Wow. Do you have a perspective on why Western medicine has been so reluctant to incorporate, these, like you said, 1,000-year-old techniques?
Yeah. And it's so interesting because like one of our with one of our children, the doctor that my wife was going to, he was a traditional Western medicine doctor who was learning acupuncture. Mm-hmm. And then when our second child was on the way, she was transverse breech, and we were concerned about that, and had done everything the Western medicine could do. And then someone said, "Why don't you go see an acupuncturist?" And the acupuncturist we went to was this woman who had practiced Western medicine in China, and then came to America to practice Eastern medicine, doing acupuncture. And through the acupuncture, our daughter turned, and my wife was able to give birth naturally.
Wow.
And so, but we, in the West, many of us are very much still stuck in the Cartesian split, mind and body, two separate things. And we're very analytical in that way. And so things that aren't along those sort of allopathic lines feels woo-woo. Mm-hmm. You know, I've had people say, "Is what you do woo-woo?" And I'll say, no, it actually isn't. We're using the system that's in the body. It's, mm-hmm. You know, I can certainly use languaging with somebody that might be of a more woo-woo nature if that's what they're into, because we can use language in a different way. Mm-hmm. But just tapping on these points is no more woo-woo than, say, doing the Heimlich maneuver or any kind of physical thing. But we're very much tied into old ideas of how it should be. And then people who are deeply rooted in their traditions, whatever it might be, whether it's Western medicine or religions or Eastern medicine or whatever, we get very stuck in our ideas. And so we find it very hard to be open to new ideas. We're very resistant to that. And I can't remember who it was, one of the great physicists back at the beginning of the 1900s, might have been Max Planck, who said, scientific progress moves forward one funeral at a time.
Yeah.
So it's, if some people's minds won't change, and so we can't really, it's hard to move forward until that person is no longer in the equation. And but even with ourselves, we do this with our own ideas. So we have that, just as I was saying, when we look at change, we have that stress response. Mm-hmm. So many in the scientific community or any community, religious community, political communities, any group that has certain ideas, you try to suggest something different, and it feels like a threat. Mm-hmm. New ideas feel threatening, and so we will look at them and say why it's wrong. The great philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said, "All truth goes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as having always been self-evident." So, at this point, tapping is still, by many people, it's in one of those two. Many people just ridicule it, and many people violently oppose it. And then there's plenty of people who are like, "Well, yeah, duh, of course, tapping on these points, it makes total sense, and it relieves those blockages to making changes."
Yeah. It's funny. It's another quote I love is a Mark Twain one that's, it's easier to fool people than to convince people they've been fooled. Right.
Right.
And you look at, the last 100+ years of the pharmaceutical paradigm that's been built up. And, we've been kind of ingrained this culture, at least again in the West, that, if it doesn't come from big pharma, if it hasn't spent millions and millions going through FDA trials, then it's not going to work, right? That we've kind of lost this connection with the capacity for the body to heal innately, and also to use, much more simple natural ingredients to get that healing done. Yet people, have that cognitive dissonance where it's like you look at what the health of our country, right? We're one of the most industrialized nations in the world, yet we have increasingly declining rates of chronic illness, stress, mental health, obesity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, what, something's not working here, guys.
Right. I think it was another quote by Mark Twain about it's very difficult to convince a man of something when it poses a financial threat.
Totally.
Or when his financial well-being is dependent upon what he's believing. So, yeah. And people who are opposing it may not even be consciously aware that they're doing that that's the reason. It's just like, no, it's just ridiculous. Someone commented on one of my YouTube videos the other day saying, this is total BS. And I wanted to write back and say, and this is based on a scholarly review of all the research that's out there, because there is a lot of scientific research, or this is based on in-depth experimentation you've done to test this out, or this is a gut reaction because it looks different, which is certainly what it was. And I think that some of the biggest resistance comes from people who feel threatened by it because, as I said, change feels threatening. So even if it seems like a positive change, again, I don't want things to be different. So someone comes along and says, hey, I have this technique that can help you make a change. It's like, you back off. You get away from me. And by the way, it looks stupid. It looks crazy tapping on your face. So therefore, it must be ridiculous. Okay, how's that working for you? I'll talk to you later. And the great thing is that some of these people then become the biggest fans of it after they somehow or other move past that resistance and they give it a try and find, holy cow, this actually does feel so much better. And they become some of the biggest fans of the process.
Yeah, that's really cool. And another modality that's made a huge change in my life is the practice of transcendental meditation. I think, a lot of similarities there with just, a natural way to dissolve stress in the body. I'm curious, do you have any recommendations? Like, are there good ways to combine tapping with meditation?
Yeah, I actually created a video once on that because a lot of folks, myself included, have had trouble with meditation in the past because there's this feeling of, I'm not doing it right. I'm still thinking thoughts, so I'm not doing it right. And in terms of stress relief, it's so like if you get into a stressful situation, like you're cut off in traffic or you have an argument with your boss or your spouse or something like that, unless you've been practicing for some time, it might be very difficult to go into a meditative state. Like, okay, I'm gonna try not to freak out right now, and I'm gonna just meditate. So tapping is a little bit simpler. Okay, I don't have to try to do anything. I don't have to get myself into a state.
Yeah,
it's just going to start working on its own. But then it creates that opening to be able to go into a more meditative state. Because I'm not in that fight or flight state at that moment. And so now I can start to relax, and so I can make better use of it. So yeah, I've definitely used this as a stepping stone into a meditative state.
Wow. Well, I would love to walk through a demonstration of tapping if you would be open to it.
Oh, all right, Jordan. I would love to.
Amazing.
So first, I'll walk you through the basic version, and then we'll go through any questions, and then we'll have some fun with it, because there's a very basic, simple format, and then the way that I do it is it's like an intuitive process of exploring different ideas as we do the tapping. But if I demonstrate that way first, then if this is the first time people have heard tapping, they'll say, well, that's really complicated. I wouldn't know what to say, so I'm not going to use this. The great thing about tapping is you can even tap silently on just one point, and it will be having a benefit. And you may, for those of you who may be new to this, you may not notice something right away. And a lot of folks will say, well, I didn't feel anything, so obviously tapping doesn't work. That's not the case. We have a growing body of scientific evidence showing the biological markers of the benefits of tapping. One of the primary ones that we've noticed is lowering cortisol. So cortisol is one of the main stress hormones. The first study that was done on this, it was a double-blind study, and the group that did the tapping, their cortisol levels dropped by an average of 24%. The
Wow.
technicians thought that there was something wrong. They said, that's not possible. And they threw the first batch out and recalibrated the machines, ran it through again, and found that that was actually what had happened. And this test has been replicated, and with other studies, that has come down by an average of 30 to 40%. So, that's a huge reduction in stress from the tapping. So, even if you're not consciously aware, just know that when you do tapping, so I like to say it's like both a vitamin and a painkiller. There are times when you have emotional distress and you can tap and you'll definitely notice the difference. And so it's like a painkiller, but then it's also like a vitamin, because I recommend tapping on a daily basis. And just like a vitamin, you may not necessarily notice there's a benefit, but there are benefits happening over time. Mm-hmm. So what we generally do when we're looking at it is we decide on what's bothering us. So maybe it's just simply, I just feel stressed out right now. I may be more aware of it, like I'm really angry at Bob right now. I may be aware of I'm really afraid about this report I have to turn in next week. So we identify what the issue is that's causing us the most upset. Mm-hmm. And then we'll rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. So 10 being the worst. How angry at Bob am I? Well, he was a real jerk. It's a good 8. And then I want to notice how I feel that physically. And this is why we take this somatic component, we take it into the body, because that's where we feel it. We don't just in a relaxed state go, gosh, I'm really, really pissed off at Bob. we feel it in our body, so we recognize, okay, it's a tightness in my shoulders, or I get a real knot in my stomach. So now that I know what it is that's bothering me and how I'm experiencing it, we'll use a setup phrase. So this anger at Bob, or this stress, this fear about the report, whatever that might be. We'll take the fingertips of our index and middle finger of our dominant hand, and the meridians run up and down both sides of the body. So you can tap with either hand on either side of the body, and many people will tap with both hands at the same time. So whatever feels most comfortable. But just for the sake of demonstration, I'll say take your dominant hand, and with those fingertips, gently tap on the edge of your opposite hand. So right between your wrist and your pinky on the opposite hand, and just gently tap in there. It's just a simple tap, tap, tap motion. And we'll say, even though I have this issue, or even though I feel this stress, even though I'm angry at Bob, whatever the reminder phrase is, that's what we'll repeat. We'll say, even though I feel this stress, I choose to love and accept myself. And we'll say that 3 times. And the reason we say I love and accept myself is because so often we resist what's going on. Hey, how you doing? I'm fine. That 4-letter F word. We'll tell other people we're fine. We'll tell ourselves we're fine. And what we resist persists. So this is a statement of acceptance. I am accepting that I feel this because I want to be able to deal with it. So even though I feel this stress, I choose to love and accept myself. And we'll say that 3 times. Then we'll go through these points. So the first point is right at the beginning of your eyebrow on either side. So right just about the center of your face. And we gently tap there, generally between 5 and 10 times. There's no need to keep count, just however long the reminder phrase might be. So we're gonna repeat the reminder phrase on each of these points. So gently tapping right at the beginning of your eyebrow, and we'd say, all this stress, or whatever the statement might be. Then we'll follow the eyebrow out to the side of our eye, right there at the corner of your eye socket, and gently tap in there and repeat the phrase, all this stress. Then following the edge of your eye socket to right under the middle of your eye, just above your cheek, all this stress. The next point is right below your nose, just above your upper lip, all this stress. And right below your lower lip, just above your chin, all this stress. The next point is right where your collarbones come together. There's a little bit of a U shape at the base of your throat. And you can tap with all of your fingertips, or even make a fist and tap where the collarbones come together. All the stress. Next point is about 4 inches below your armpit. Some will say that's right about bra strap level, and even us guys can figure out where that is. All this stress. And then finally, the top of your head. So with all of your fingertips, just tapping around the crown of your head. All this stress. And then take a deep breath. And that's the basic version of EFT. And then we would check in again and say, okay, in terms of this stress or this anger at Bob, whatever it might be, if it was at an 8 before, now what does it feel like? Checking in with my shoulders or wherever I was feeling that. And it might go from an 8 to a 0 like that sometimes. And sometimes it might just go from an 8 to a 7.75. And it's like, okay, well, that's some relief. Mm-hmm. And it's often like peeling the layers of the onion. So I might be tapping along and saying, all this anger at Bob, all this anger at Bob, oh, wait a minute. It's not even Bob. What he did reminds me of something that Cindy did to me in the 3rd grade, and I never forgave her. And now I have this opportunity to clear up stress that I've been holding in my body for decades. Mm-hmm. So we may feel like the number hasn't reduced because we're more clear about what's going on. And sometimes people will say, wow, after tapping, and this is very rare, but it does happen where someone will say, well, I was tapping and it went from an 8 up to a 9. So tapping made me feel worse. I'll say, no, it just helped you be more aware of what was already there. Mm-hmm. So for instance, if you were going to go clean your room, if you have company coming over and you say, oh, well, my living room's pretty clean, on a scale of 0 to 10, how dirty is it? Oh, it's only a 2, but I really want to impress these people, so I'm going to straighten up. And I straighten up and I move the sofa and I find there's dirty laundry under the sofa. Now on a scale of 0 to 10, how dirty is my room? Well, now it's like a 5 or a 6. And so it's not that I wouldn't say, oh, I shouldn't have cleaned up my living room. It was just a 2 before. Now it's a 6 because I started. I'm just now aware of what was there. It was always that dirty. So we're just now more aware of, wow, I'm more stressed. I'm more angry than I thought I was. I was distracted. But now I can actually clean it up, and I can actually get to truly feeling as good as I might have thought that I was feeling. Make sense?
It totally does. Yeah.
So that's the basic format. Any questions about that?
No, I mean the format. It's like it's so simple, and it's like I could already feel it does make a big difference. Where you're just like, I don't know, I don't know how to necessarily describe it, but just like more relaxed, I guess, right? To put it simply.
Right. Well, because we're always carrying ambient levels of stress. Mm-hmm. Most of us have no idea how much stress we're actually carrying. And most of us are walking around with a cell phone that is constantly telling us, hey, how you feeling? Here's something else to be upset about. So we have a heightened level of stress compared to before we had cell phones. And they say ignorance is bliss. Well, I don't know about entirely, but to a certain level, there are things that when we don't know about them, they don't bother us. And with the cell phone, we always know what's going on. There's always something we can get upset about. But we just sort of habituate to it. And we just figure, okay, this is my normal level, and I'm fine. And when we do some tapping, and I can't tell you how many times this has happened on an interview where I'm talking to someone like yourself who's, feeling in a pretty good state as we start, and we go through the tapping, they're like, wow, I feel more relaxed now, because we don't even realize I thought I was fine before. We're not aware of how much stress is there, and we're not aware of how that might be compromising our health, wealth, and happiness. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say I recommend tapping on a daily basis, just like brushing your teeth. Yeah. We don't wait until you're obviously feeling stressed out and say, oh, now I should tap. Just like you don't wait until people are holding their nose around you and go, oh, that's right, I haven't taken a shower in 2 weeks. I should probably do that. Most of us do that on a daily basis, whether we think we need it or not. Most of us brush our teeth, hopefully at least twice a day, whether we think we need it or not. And then again, as needed, we don't, if we eat some Oreo cookies and we're going to go out and see some people, we don't say, there's brown stuff all over my teeth, but I already brushed my teeth this morning, so I'm not going to do it again. It's like, do it on a regular basis for maintenance. We have physical hygiene. This is energy hygiene, and having a regular practice. So doing it on a regular basis, and then doing it as needed when you feel stressed and go, oh, I want to clear that out. Or when you recognize that you have some resistance to taking action. I have this report due next week. I'm not getting it done. There might be some resistance or some fear. And so I want to tap to ease that up. And now I have that freedom to take action on things that I haven't been doing.
Yeah. So do you have a recommendation in terms of the time of day that people tap?
I like to do it first thing in the morning. Mm-hmm. And again, so the idea of tapping, the way I just demonstrated is we look at what's bothering us. Mm-hmm. So I don't want anyone to get the idea of, oh, Brad taps first thing in the morning, just wake up in a bad mood. Not at all. Not at all. I don't wake up with the feeling of, even though I woke up on the wrong side of the bed again. I will tap while saying prayers or affirmations, or I'll just tap silently, even though I may be feeling just great. It's like, okay, I want to still clear anything that might be there that might get in the way of me having a really good day. Any resistance that I might not be aware of, any stress that I might not be aware of, it can't hurt to tap. It's not like, oh yeah, you're going to overdo it and you're going to harm yourself. As long as you're not tapping so hard that you're actually physically hurting yourself, it's going to be okay. So yeah, I'll just try to do that to start my day off. And now, so I recommend that. If that doesn't work for someone because they already have a morning routine and they can't squeeze that in, then you find a time that's appropriate. It's a very simple thing you can do. You could do it in the shower. You can do it while you're sitting on the can.
Yeah.
Just clearing all kinds of stuff out.
Do you have something like a tear sheet that we can share as well for folks if they want just, something to read to remind them of where to tap and in what order?
Yeah. Well, there are different resources on my website where people can find things like that. I have on my website, there's a free 5-day starting program called Tap into Success. Well, it's called Success Beyond Belief. So it's, the idea of success beyond belief. Wow, that's so much success. But it's also literally what is meant by it is, what is the success beyond your current level of belief about what you can have? And because the extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to be the extent to which we're resisting it. Mm-hmm. And we resist it because we have some kind of fear. I shouldn't or couldn't have more success because of ... and these beliefs. So I can use this tapping to clear out those old beliefs, and then I open myself up to all kinds of greater levels of success. And so there are, and there's resources in that program about how to do it. And then again, I've got all these videos on YouTube, so very simple to follow along. And just with the demonstration that I just gave, hopefully folks can see, wow, I can easily do this on myself. And you can also, if you don't remember where the points are yet, feel free to tap any of these points and you'll get benefit just from tapping one point. Don't worry about the words. Even tapping silently, as I said earlier, will help downregulate the stress, moves us out of fight or flight. Even if we're not consciously aware that we're in fight or flight, there's at some level, we're not at optimal levels and we're not thinking as clearly as we could be. We're not behaving or thinking at an optimal level when there's stress there. So any tapping we're going to do is going to move us into a higher level of thinking and performance.
Absolutely. And I'll include your YouTube channel and your website in the show notes. The website is at Tap with Brad. Is that right?
Correct.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we can do a little bit longer demonstration now and play with an idea of how tapping can be used. So is there with this audience, with the Entangled audience, what do you most want for them? I know that it's about higher levels of consciousness.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I don't know if I can speak for the whole audience, but I can speak for myself. The biggest struggle I've had lately is quitting my habit of smoking cannabis, right? And it's funny, I quit drinking a few years ago, and easy breezy, no problem. But cannabis has been a lot harder for me. So if you got some ideas on how to break that habit, that would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll invite everyone to, unless you're driving, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and hold it, and let it go. And now just breathing comfortably with your eyes closed, just allowing yourself to be present, allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible so as to receive maximum benefit from this process. And just following your breath through your body, just allow yourself to be aware of what you're feeling physically and emotionally. And for anyone listening, allow yourself to think about some habit that you'd like to let go of. You know, whether it's cannabis or eating certain foods or watching too much TV or whatever it might be, and allow yourself to think about letting that go. And notice how your body responds. Notice what emotions might come up. Notice what physical sensations might come up, what kind of discomfort you experience. And rate that discomfort on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being, oh, it's just excruciating, unthinkable. Notice what thoughts, beliefs, and memories come up about why you couldn't or shouldn't let this go, why you couldn't or shouldn't be comfortable with the idea of letting this go. And as much as possible, be curious rather than judgmental. Don't judge yourself for any resistance you have to this. You know, you're not a bad person for having these habitual thoughts and behaviors. You've learned these as defense mechanisms, as ways of protecting yourself from something that feels uncomfortable. You know, in a world that feels so out of control at times, you've come up with this way of allowing yourself to control how you feel in the midst of what's going on in the world. So without judging yourself, just allow yourself to be aware of the discomfort that comes up when you think about letting this go. Rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. And also asking yourself, what am I afraid would happen if I didn't have this? And again, notice how your body responds, maybe even before particular words or thoughts come to mind. Just allowing yourself to be aware of what feels relevant, what feels important. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Open your eyes. So, Jordan, when you think about letting go of cannabis, what, on a scale of 0 to 10, how uncomfortable does that feel?
Pretty low. I'd say 1 to 2.
Okay.
I think my body's ready to let it go, you know? But I really resonated with your last question, not to jump ahead, but I think that,
No.
And I think that, so to give you a little bit of my own journey, you know, I had a pretty profound spiritual awakening a few years ago, and psychedelics played a big role in that. But I'd say it was more of a facilitator, right, than the reason why I had the awakening.
Yes.
And I'd built up a bit of a tolerance to cannabis before that as well. And I think, you know, and this is a download I got in meditation last week as well. So it was interesting to see how it kind of all came back during this tapping exercise too, where, you know, I grew up pretty materialistic, agnostic with regards to God and the spiritual realm, right? And, you know, I've been really hard on myself for not being able to break the habit for cannabis earlier. And, you know, I got a profound download last week where it's like, look, relax, like this was kind of what you needed to be able to help you connect with that higher spiritual realm and be more open to it. But now that I have internalized that, right, I know that cannabis isn't helping me anymore, right? And I think at the end of the day, you know, I've gotten out of balance, right? Before I was too in the material realm. Now I think I've gotten too much in the spiritual realm and haven't had a good enough time reintegrating that and getting my body back in shape and all of that good stuff, right? And so I think to your ultimate question of what's been stopping me, or I don't remember the exact last question, but effectively that.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you afraid of?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it all comes down to, am I worthy of love at the end of the day, right? I've been able to kind of use that as a crutch to, I don't know, not fully integrate with my physical self to be my best self in this physical reality, right? And I want to be there, right? I want to be able to live 200% of life, 100% in the material realm, 100% in the spiritual realm. And I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to accepting myself and loving myself.
Yeah. And it is interesting that you say that, because a moment ago you had said, now I've gotten too much into the spiritual world. It's like, can you be too much in spirit? But yes, if we have this belief of it's either or.
Right.
I'm either in the material world or I'm in the spiritual world. So I have to find that, switch back and forth, and allowing ourselves to go, no, I can be in spirit and live in this world, and clearing up that confusion. And in terms of, what you're saying about, beating yourself up about the habit, for anyone listening, whatever quote unquote unhealthy behaviors you have, self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. You are not, even though it might look like you're hurting yourself, you're doing it because part of you says, this is what I need to do to take care of myself. And the benefits outweigh the cost at the moment. So, we sometimes think, oh, I'm just hurting myself. It's like, but only because it feels like it's helping you more than it's hurting you, based on the current beliefs. Like this idea of, well, I can't be in touch with my spiritual self if I don't have some psychedelic aid. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to give that up. And, I don't know that I'll be able to be where I want to be without that aid. And certainly there's a lot of people who use psychedelics, and coach that as a way of getting into that realm, getting out of who you were at. I like to think tapping helps us get there in a somewhat more natural way. We're breaking down resistance. It's like, okay, if I can break down the resistance without having harmful effects on my brain.
Yeah.
So let's play with this. Let's see what comes up here. So for the first round, I will mention what points we're tapping on for those of you who are just listening. Then after we get to the top of the head, we'll go back to the eyebrow point, but I'm not going to say the points after that, because then it just gets very, very heavy just trying to say that every time. So after the top of the head, we'll go to the eyebrow point, and then each time I make a new statement, you'll be tapping on the next point. If you don't remember the points after the first round, don't worry about it. If you get the points wrong, you're not tapping on the same points that we're tapping on, that's okay. It's a very forgiving process. If you decide, I don't remember, I'm just going to tap on one point, and you just choose one of the points to tap on, that's fine. Really. So please let go of any concerns of, what if I don't do it right? You can't do it wrong. So starting on the side of the hand. Even though I'm resisting giving this up. And just for everyone listening, I'm going to encourage you to say it out loud. I totally understand, Jordan. For the purpose of the podcast, it makes it simpler for the audio to not repeat. But I just want to make sure everyone else knows. Feel free to say it out loud, because when we say it out loud, we tend to be more emotionally engaged. So
great.
Even though I'm resisting giving this up, I choose to love and accept myself. Even though I'm resisting giving this up, I choose to love and honor myself. Even though I'm resisting giving this up, even though part of me already knows I don't need this anymore, I'm ready to move past this. But not all of me is on board yet. And even though I'm resisting giving this up, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And maybe anyone else who might contribute to this. Because I choose to be that free. Okay, so tapping the eyebrow point now. All this resistance to giving this up. Side of the eye, all this resistance. Under the eye, all this fear of giving this up. Under the nose, I'm afraid of giving this up. Under the mouth, part of me might say, I'm not afraid. Collarbone, it's not about fear at all. Under the arm, I just shouldn't have to give it up. Top of the head, so maybe I'm feeling a little rebellious.
So maybe I'm feeling a little rebellious.
And now going back through all the points, eyebrow point. All this resistance.
All this resistance.
All this resistance to giving this up.
All this resistance to giving this up.
All this fear of giving this up.
All this fear of giving this up.
Because even though I know there may be some harmful effects of continuing this.
There may be some harmful effects of continuing this.
Whatever this behavior might be.
Whatever this behavior might be.
I still believe there are benefits.
I still believe there are benefits.
Part of me might say, this habit has really helped me move forward.
This habit has really helped me move forward.
Really helped me explore my spiritual side.
Really helped me explore my spiritual side.
And maybe part of me says, it's a necessary component.
It's a necessary component.
As though the Creator designed me.
As though the Creator designed me.
Needing some external thing to help me get in touch.
Needing some external thing to help me get in touch.
And I'm allowing myself to reconsider that.
I'm allowing myself to reconsider that.
The Creator made me with all the necessary chemicals inside.
The Creator made me with all the necessary chemicals inside.
And I can be grateful for this external help.
And I can be grateful for this external help.
No blame or shame for using it.
No blame or shame for using it.
I'm just allowing myself to know.
I'm just allowing myself to know.
I don't need it anymore.
I don't need it anymore.
I can be in touch with my spiritual side.
I can be in touch with my spiritual self.
I can access all those benefits.
I can access all of those benefits.
Without the drugs.
Without the drugs.
Without whatever habit I've been holding on to.
Without whatever habit I've been holding on to.
But what if I do need it?
But what if I do need it?
All this fear of letting it go.
All this fear of letting it go.
And maybe part of me says. It's become part of my identity.
It's become part of my identity.
And if I no longer have this habit.
I'm
a different person.
I'm a different person.
And I'll wake up in the morning. See myself in the bathroom mirror. And call 911 to report a stranger.
And
I'm clearing that fear. I'm becoming more of who I really am. And it's safe to do that. And I can handle it. I can handle this. I love and appreciate those parts of me. That have been resisting letting this go.
that have been resisting letting this go,
believing that it was necessary.
believing that it was necessary.
I'm releasing all of the judgment,
I'm releasing all of the judgment,
all the ways I've beaten myself up
all the ways I've beaten myself up
for not making this change sooner.
for not making this change sooner.
It's not that I am bad or stupid.
It's not that I am bad or stupid.
It is not that I am weak or lazy.
It's not that I am weak or lazy.
It's just that I have a lot of old programming
It's just that I have a lot of old programming
about why I needed to continue,
about why I needed to continue,
about why it wasn't safe to let it go.
about why it wasn't safe to let it go.
And I'm clearing up those misunderstandings.
And I'm clearing up those misunderstandings.
As helpful as this habit might have been,
As helpful as this habit might have been,
I don't need it anymore.
I don't need it anymore.
I've got what I need.
I've got what I need.
It's safe to let it go.
It's safe to let it go.
It's safe to feel really good about that.
It's safe to feel really good about that.
It's safe to feel peace about that.
It's safe to feel peace about that.
And part of me might say,
And part of me might say,
but I'm really going to miss it.
that I'm really going to miss it.
I'm sure going to miss that.
I'm sure going to miss that.
And I'm clearing that discomfort
And I'm clearing that discomfort
because I can replace that with wonderful things,
because I can replace that with wonderful things,
healthier experiences,
healthier experiences,
clearing this fear of missing it,
clearing this fear of missing it,
releasing that fear at a cellular level,
releasing that fear at its cellular level,
releasing it all the way back through my past,
releasing it all the way back from my past,
back through any time I've let something go
back through any time I've let something go
and felt some discomfort about it,
and felt some discomfort about it,
some kind of withdrawal.
some kind of withdrawal.
I'm clearing all of that up.
Clearing all of that up.
I'm not letting go of anything I need.
I'm not letting go of anything I need.
I'm just letting go of what no longer serves me.
I'm just letting go of what no longer serves me.
I choose to really enjoy this freedom
I choose to really enjoy this freedom
in body, mind, and spirit.
in body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. And just let that rattle around inside. And recognize, check in where any fear had been about letting it go. Just see if it feels easier to move on from that now.
It does.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And just to be clear, for anyone, for whatever someone might have been resisting giving up, and you may say, wow, it doesn't feel like it's there at all now. I feel no desire for it. And if you then find yourself having a craving or an interest in it at some point later, it doesn't mean that tapping doesn't work. It just means there was something else that wasn't addressed. I cleared out a lot, but there was something else that was still there. And now you can become more aware of it. And again, it's like what I said earlier about peeling the layers of the onion. So
Yeah.
For some going through this, you may say, yeah, I'm not sure there's a shift, but I am more aware now. I remember this one time that I tried to kick the habit or whatever, and I went through this difficult period. And so you can then tap more specifically on that. Even though this one time, ... and tap through that and keep peeling those layers of the onion. So it's just, if there are more cravings or more compulsion to engage in this habit again, just recognize, okay, there's still some reason that I haven't fully addressed yet.
Mm-hmm.
And clear those out and recognize, I have no need for this. And I can enjoy the benefits of not using this now.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. As I've been working with chiropractic, two of the main points along the spine, right, that were out of whack. The first was my top left one on my neck, and the other one was the bottom right one on my hip.
Hmm.
And I think, I've really worked through the neck one. And when that happened, like I had kind of this epiphany on like what that was from and why that had still been there.
Yeah.
And the hip and the leg, like it's gotten a lot better, but there's still something there blocking it. And I felt it in my leg as we were going through that, where it's like it's working through. I certainly haven't cleared it yet, but I can tell in my body like I'm getting closer to whatever that is.
Interesting. So, what are you feeling in your leg right now?
Now it feels good. Now it feels totally fine. But when we were tapping, it felt like it was clearing a little bit, but it wasn't quite there yet, you know?
Okay. Well, let's do this, Jordan. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And so, for anyone else, just allow yourself to be aware of anything that might be going on inside. So, just see if there's any remnant of that as you think about being free from this habit, and notice if there's any of that feeling in your leg or anywhere else, because sometimes we're very clever, and so we can we find ways of moving things around. It's like a shell game of hide the pain. It's like, okay, no, it's not there anymore. So just being aware if there's anything there, notice on a scale of 0 to 10 any discomfort that might be there, and also allow yourself to be aware of any thoughts, beliefs, or memories that might be connected to it. What are you aware of?
So it's probably like a 3 in terms of discomfort.
Okay.
And it is still in the same spot. It's kind of like on my inner thigh, connected to the knee. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because, one of the times where like I really felt a lot of that tension release after Cairo, I could feel that there was also a corresponding release of tension in my big toe and in my kind of like right under my crotch area, and it's like kind of like all the like juncture points where those connect,
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
Interesting.
toe piece of it, I could tell that it had to do with wrath. I don't know exactly what that means, but like I'm generally a pretty even mannered person. Like I don't get angry too often, but when I do get angry, I can explode on people and just be really hurtful. So I don't know what that's coming from, but I think that's related to the source of whatever the discomfort is.
Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and say, I I feel this anger in my leg and toe.
I feel this anger in my leg and toe.
And just notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how true that feels.
I don't feel angry now, but I do feel it definitely like something's happening in the leg for sure when I thought about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Let's play.
Great.
So for everyone listening, if you're feeling something somewhere in your body, and you can use the same words that Jordan and I are using, it's not, you're not going to take on a leg pain. It's like, oh, I was fine until I started repeating this leg pain. You won't take it on because this is a cleaning process. So if you spill coffee on your counter and you're wiping it up with a sponge and you say orange juice, it's not like, okay, now I'm going to create orange juice on my thing. We're going to be cleaning up the coffee. What you're going to clean up whatever is there. So, side of the hand. Even though I'm feeling this discomfort,
Even though I'm feeling this discomfort,
I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though I'm feeling this discomfort,
Even though I'm feeling this discomfort,
I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to love and honor myself.
Even though I'm feeling this discomfort,
Even though I'm feeling this discomfort,
a lot of stuff has been moving through me.
a lot of stuff has been moving through me.
A lot of stuff has been released.
A lot of stuff has been released.
And some of it's getting stuck.
Some of it's getting stuck.
Some of it's stuck in my thigh.
Some of it's stuck in my thigh.
Sometimes it gets stuck in my toe.
Sometimes it gets stuck in my toe.
And even though I feel this discomfort,
And even though I feel this discomfort,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself,
love, honor, and accept myself,
and maybe anyone else who might be involved.
and maybe anyone else who might be involved.
And now again, going through the tapping points, starting with the eyebrow. All this discomfort,
All this discomfort,
all this discomfort that I'm feeling,
all this discomfort that I'm feeling,
this discomfort in my leg,
this discomfort in my leg,
this discomfort in my toe,
this discomfort in my toe,
all these places
all of these places
where I'm holding on to something
where I'm holding on to something
because something inside of me says,
because something inside of me says,
I need to hang on to this.
I need to hang on to this.
It may be in my leg and toe
It may be in my leg and toe
because part of me is afraid to move forward.
because part of me is afraid to move forward.
I'm trying to stop myself.
I'm trying to stop myself.
So what am I afraid of?
So what am I afraid of?
And sometimes that fear really gets triggered,
And sometimes that fear really gets triggered
and it comes out as anger.
and it comes out as anger.
Because anytime I get angry at somebody,
Because anytime I get angry at somebody,
it's because I feel threatened.
it's because I feel threatened.
Under any discomfort that I feel,
Under any discomfort that I feel,
there's some level of fear.
there's some level of fear.
So what am I afraid of?
So what am I afraid of?
And can I let that fear go?
And I let that fear go.
What am I afraid would happen
What am I afraid would happen
if I let that fear go?
if I let that fear go?
What am I afraid would happen
What am I afraid would happen
if I let that discomfort go?
if I let that discomfort go?
Maybe part of me says,
Maybe part of me says,
if my thigh and toe felt great,
if my thigh and toe felt great,
I could get myself into some real trouble.
I could get myself into some real trouble.
So it needs to stay stuck there.
So it needs to stay stuck there.
I can keep it at subtle levels.
I can keep it at subtle levels.
And isn't it interesting
And isn't it interesting
that at one moment I said I was feeling fine,
that in one moment I said I was feeling fine,
and then I said it's a 3 out of 10
and then I said it's a 3 out of 10
because I've been using that 4-letter F word.
because I've been using that 4-letter F word for sure.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Don't you dare touch my pain
Don't you dare touch my pain
because I rely on that.
because I rely on that.
Don't mess with my ability to get angry
Don't mess with my ability to get angry
because I rely on that.
because I rely on that.
If I didn't have these outbursts,
If I didn't have these outbursts,
I wouldn't protect myself.
I wouldn't protect myself.
I'd let people walk all over me.
I'd let people walk all over me.
I'd be taken advantage of.
I'd be taken advantage of.
I need to know that I can get angry when I need to.
I need to know that I can get angry when I need to.
And I'm processing all of this.
And I'm processing all of this.
I'm open to the possibility
I'm open to the possibility
that as I keep reaching those higher levels of consciousness,
that as I keep reaching those higher levels of consciousness,
I can find healthier ways to get what I need.
I can find healthier ways to get what I need.
I forgive myself for not being totally there yet.
I forgive myself for not being totally there yet.
This is the journey.
This is the journey.
And I'm releasing whatever I can release.
And I'm releasing whatever I can release.
I'm open to the possibility
I'm open to the possibility
that whatever's been getting stuck in my leg
that whatever's been getting stuck in my leg
or my toe,
or my toe,
it's safe to let it keep moving now.
it's safe to let it keep moving now.
It's safe for me to be free from this.
It's safe for me to be free from this.
Clearing any doubts about that.
Clearing any doubts about that.
Clearing these doubts from every fiber of my being.
clearing these doubts from every fiber of my being.
Maybe part of me says,
Maybe part of me says,
there have been times where this has really saved me.
there have been times where this has really saved me.
And I love and appreciate those parts of me
And I love and appreciate those parts of me
that are just trying to protect me.
that are just trying to protect me.
And I'm finding healthier ways to take care of myself.
And I'm finding healthier ways to take care of myself.
Stepping even more into my real power.
Stepping even more into my real power.
In body, mind, and spirit.
Body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. And with your eyes closed, go inside and check in again with that area of your thigh near your knee where the discomfort was at a 3. And, with no expectation, because physical things sometimes move at a different pace. But just notice if it still feels like a 3 or if it's changed at all.
It's increased in intensity.
Interesting.
But not in a negative way. It's kind of like you were talking about earlier, where it's just like you're just being more aware of it.
Yeah. And are there any thoughts or memories that come up around? And certainly, you don't need to expose anything on your own show that you don't want to talk about. You can, just say, yes, there are some things, but
nothing yet. And it's funny because I've really thought on it a decent amount. So I don't know. I'm not concerned about it. I think it's not my time yet to know. I don't know though.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is we are so programmed to be impatient and to say, I need it now, where, certainly in modern day society where everything is automated and, especially with the cell phone, you've got everything at your fingertips. We have this thought of if I have to take even 5 seconds to get it, that's too long.
Yeah.
And allowing ourselves to be aware of sometimes the healing process, physically and emotionally, there may be a reason for a higher purpose. Not a fun thought, but it's like, okay. And we often get to a place of, oh, I'm grateful for that because there was some awareness that came from that. Yeah. And I'm now living at a level, and I can look back at challenging things in my own life where it's like, yeah, that really sucked. But if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. Yeah. And always wanting to get to that higher level in an easy and painless a way as possible, but just trusting, okay, there may be some times where the discomfort is part and parcel of that, and I can make peace with that.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Brad, so I think a decent amount of whatever was stressing or has been stressing my nervous system was caused by a car accident I was in when I was a little kid. My mom was driving. We got T-boned on the driver's side. I was in the back passenger seat. And so, I didn't have any physical issues, so never went to PT or anything, but I do think that compounded and it has kind of thrown the nervous system out of whack. And that was something that did come, to me during the chiropractic sessions. But I think the wrath is something deeper, something probably, even, yeah, I don't know. I think there's something else there still that I haven't found out.
Okay. And we can play a little more with that if you like, but we don't have to. I don't mean to put you on the spot with, hey, don't put me on the spot on my own show.
No, I love it. Yeah.
But, and that's the thing is that so we hold on to some of these things and a lot of times we'll tell ourselves it's not there. Just like with the thing in your leg, it's like, oh, I'm not feeling it at all. And then it's like, oh, it's a 3. It is still there. And we try to tell ourselves not there because, like I said earlier, self-sabotage is misguided self-love. I'm trying to protect myself. And part of me says, I need this. I need this wrath. If I didn't have this wrath, what would happen? And we, played with that a little bit, but there's always peeling layers of the onion. And we often don't want to look at that. Yeah. I don't want to try to look at what happened during that car accident. Yeah. Or what else might have happened even before that where the seeds of that wrath might have been planted. And so we avoid that, because when we try to go looking for these things, we have a stress response. It's like an electric fence around our comfort zone, and we get close to that and go, oh, back up, back up. And tapping is like cutting the wires to that electric fence. Like, okay, it feels safer to go looking at that.
Yeah.
And with a lot of these things, it's best to do it with someone else, you know, with a trained practitioner, with a therapist, somebody who can be there for you. Because there's some places we probably shouldn't go by ourselves, especially when we're looking at something where, you know, where we would use a charged word like wrath. Not like, I'm just pissed off. No, it's wrath. And looking at what might be there. And the tapping gives us a sense of safety. It's like, okay, because when we try to go looking at those things, sometimes it feels like, no, it's not, that electric fence won't just give me a little shock. That'll electrocute me. That'll kill me. And as we tap, we can start to feel more relaxed and say, it's not that dire. It is safe for me to start looking at this and unraveling it and seeing where those misunderstandings are.
Yeah.
You know, and all the decisions that you might have made during that accident about how safe you might be in this world, or, you know, in wrath towards the driver who hit you guys. And it's like, there could be someone out there at any moment who's going to T-bone me. And I need to be ready to lash out and put that person in their place or whatever, because if not, I'm a victim again.
Yeah.
And allowing ourselves to keep moving through that and go, okay, there might be another way of looking at this. And then I can really step into my power, as opposed to, you know, so whether we're resorting to our wrath or resorting to cannabis or whatever, it's like this thing that I need to put me in emotional control, and find, oh, I have much more powerful ways of stepping into my power and standing in my power.
Yeah. So it's interesting, as you were talking, some stuff came up, and you know, I can't say I can point to like a specific memory, but I think that it has to do with some reason about being afraid to love myself, right? And that wrath can be a way to, if someone gets close and someone shows me love, but I don't feel worthy of it, it's a defense mechanism to push them away.
Brilliant, Jordan. This thing's we're sometimes too smart for our own good, and so we come up with these brilliant strategies. We're like evil geniuses, coming up with like, wow, this is how I'll just block love. And several years ago, it just I had a download where it's like, oh, my real job is teaching people to love themselves. Ultimately, every video that I make at some level is a video on self-love. So if you're willing to play, because this would be really beneficial for everyone, I believe. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and say, I'm worthy of love.
I'm worthy of love.
Let that rattle around inside. And notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how true that feels. And again, do not judge yourself harshly if the number is low. Just allow yourself to be aware of where it might be. Notice where you might feel that in your body. And also allow yourself to be aware of the thoughts, beliefs, and memories behind that. What is the evidence? If you were in a court of law and you're a prosecuting attorney trying to prove the fact that you, Jordan, are unworthy of love, or whoever's listening, because most of us are not loving ourselves at the level that we deserve, because there is no limit to how much we deserve love. So allowing yourself to be aware of that evidence, and take a deep breath, open your eyes. And you don't have to say out loud what the number is in terms of how worthy you feel of love, but just allow yourself to be aware of that, and see what we can do about this.
Great.
Even though I'm doubting that I'm worthy of love,
Even though I'm doubting that I'm worthy of love,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I'm doubting that I'm worthy of love,
Even though I'm doubting that I'm worthy of love,
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
Even though I'm doubting that I'm worthy of love.
Even though I'm doubting that I am worthy of love.
Because of things that have happened in the past.
Because of things that have happened in the past.
Things that I remember.
Things that I remember.
And things that I may have blocked.
And things that I may have blocked.
But these things have convinced me.
But these things have convinced me.
That I'm somehow unworthy of love.
That I'm somehow unworthy of love.
From myself or others.
For myself or others.
And even though I doubt that I'm worthy of love.
And even though I doubt that I am worthy of love.
I choose to deeply and completely.
I choose to deeply and completely.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else who might be involved in these feelings.
And maybe anyone else who might be involved in these feelings.
Because I choose to be that free.
Because I choose to be that free.
Again, going to the eyebrow point. All these doubts about being worthy of love.
All these doubts about being worthy of love.
All these doubts about my worthiness.
All these doubts about my worthiness.
All this fear that I'm unworthy of love.
All this fear that I am unworthy of love.
All these reasons.
All these reasons.
Why I might not be worthy of love.
Why I might not be worthy of love.
And I choose to process all of this.
And I choose to process all of this.
Maybe somebody told me that I was unworthy of love.
Maybe somebody told me that I was unworthy of love.
Maybe they used those words.
Maybe they used those words.
Or maybe they said something else.
Or maybe they said something else.
Telling me that I wasn't good enough.
Telling me that I wasn't good enough.
That I was unworthy of love.
That I was unworthy of love.
And maybe it was a decision I made on my own.
And maybe it was a decision I made on my own.
Based on some circumstance.
Based on some circumstance.
Something unpleasant happened.
Something unpleasant happened.
And in my young mind.
And in my young mind.
The solution I came up with.
The solution I came up with.
Was that I must be unworthy of love.
Was that I must be unworthy of love.
And part of me is still operating from that.
And part of me is still operating on that.
Even though it was a misunderstanding.
Even though it was a misunderstanding.
And if somebody else told me that.
And if somebody else told me that.
That was their misunderstanding.
That was their misunderstanding.
Because the truth is.
Because the truth is.
I am a magnificent child of the universe.
I am a magnificent child of the universe.
Worthy and deserving of love and respect.
Worthy and deserving of love and respect.
And my worthiness.
And my worthiness.
Is not determined by other people.
Is not determined by other people.
Because some people can't give me the love I deserve.
Because some people can't give me the love I deserve.
But that's on them.
But that's on them.
There is no amount of love that is too much for me.
There is no amount of love that is too much for me.
And any argument against that.
And any argument against that.
Is based on a misunderstanding.
Is based on a misunderstanding.
I am worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer.
I am worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer.
And the universe keeps giving me evidence.
And the universe keeps giving me evidence.
Like right now in this moment.
Like right now in this moment.
I'm breathing.
I'm breathing.
Every time I inhale.
Every time I inhale.
I'm asking for oxygen.
I'm asking for oxygen.
And darned if the universe doesn't say yes every time.
Darned if the universe doesn't say yes every time.
I'm allowing myself to see.
I'm allowing myself to see.
Every time I receive oxygen.
Every time I receive oxygen.
That's the universe telling me.
That's the universe telling me
that I am worthy of love.
that I am worthy of love.
And who am I to argue with that?
And who am I to argue with that?
And everybody take a deep breath in and hold it. And then continuing on. So I just took a deeper breath.
So I just took a deeper breath.
I asked for more.
I asked for more.
And the universe gave me more.
And the universe gave me more.
The universe didn't say, oh, now you're asking for more than you deserve.
And the universe didn't say, oh, now you're asking for more air.
And I only got the same little amount of oxygen as before.
And I only got the same little amount of oxygen as before.
I got more oxygen.
I got more oxygen.
The universe finds me worthy and deserving.
The universe finds me worthy and deserving.
And part of me might say,
And part of me might say,
it's not just things that other people have said or done to me.
it's not just things that other people have said or done to me.
Maybe it's things that I've done.
Maybe it's things that I've done.
I'm not worthy of love because of things that I've done.
I'm not worthy of love because of things that I've done.
But even though I did those things,
But even though I did those things,
the universe keeps loving me with oxygen.
the universe keeps loving me with oxygen.
My worthiness of love
My worthiness of love
is not determined by my past behavior,
is not determined by my past behavior.
but my past behavior
But my past behavior
has often been determined
has often been determined
by how worthy I felt of love.
by how worthy I've felt of love.
I can look at some of the worst things I've done,
I can look at some of the worst things I've done.
and if I had felt more worthy of love at that time,
And if I had felt more worthy of love at that time,
probably wouldn't have done those things.
probably wouldn't have done those things.
So instead of withholding love from myself,
So instead of withholding love for myself,
I choose to love myself even more.
I choose to love myself even more.
It's a great deterrent to bad behavior.
It's a great deterrent for bad behavior.
The fact is,
The fact is,
I am absolutely worthy and deserving of love.
I am absolutely worthy and deserving of love.
And part of me already knows this.
And part of me already knows this.
Because if I didn't know that I was worthy of love,
Because if I didn't know that I was worthy of love,
I wouldn't be here tapping on my head right now.
I wouldn't be here tapping on my head right now.
Because this is an act of self-love.
Because this is an act of self-love.
Why would I do that if I felt unworthy?
Why would I do that if I felt unworthy?
All these feelings of unworthiness
All these feelings of unworthiness
have been based on misunderstandings.
have been based on misunderstandings.
And I love and appreciate those parts of me
And I love and appreciate those parts of me
that got confused
that got confused
and held on to these feelings,
and held on to these feelings,
believing that they were necessary.
believing that they were necessary.
And I'm clearing up that confusion now.
And I'm clearing up that confusion now.
Clearing it up at a cellular level.
Clearing it up at a cellular level.
And all the way back through my past.
And all the way back through my past.
Back through all the times in my life
Back through all the times in my life
that I somehow got the message
that I somehow got the message
that I was unworthy of love.
that I was unworthy of love.
I'm releasing that nonsense now.
And I'm releasing that nonsense now.
And I'm allowing myself to really love myself.
And I'm allowing myself to really love myself.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. With your eyes closed. And maybe imagine looking in a full-length mirror and say, I'm worthy of love.
I'm worthy of love.
And let that rattle around inside. and rate that again on a scale of 0 to 10 as to how true it feels. And hopefully that number has come up, or at least there may be a greater awareness of, oh, here's the evidence against myself, and keep working through each piece of evidence. And every time you pull something out of the box of evidence, the judge is going to throw it out as falsified. It's like, oh, that's not true. How's that feeling?
Amazing. And something I wanted to mention is you're talking about, what's the best proof of being worthy of love. And one of the times I think I feel that most deeply is when I'm, deep in meditation and most connected with God, because I have a firm conviction that God is love, right? I think those are synonymous. The nature
I'm
of our
right there with
reality
you on
is,
that.
yeah. And I also firmly believe in the ideas of the Hermetic philosophy, right? That as above, so below. So as a manifestation of God's will in this reality, then by the transitive property, if I'm a part of God and God is love, then I'm worthy of love because I am also love.
Yeah, you can't not be. And so I know people who just listen to the audio can't see this, but behind me is a picture of Michelangelo's David. I have a picture here in front of me on my computer. I have a little statue of David. I have Davids everywhere. So Michelangelo said, the statue's already there inside the marble. All I have to do is chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece that's inside. And I use that as a logo because it's a perfect metaphor for what we're doing with the tapping. We're just chipping away what doesn't belong to reveal that God self, that likeness of God that is within us. We're tapping away the insecurities, the feelings of unworthiness, the guilt, the shame, the fear, all of this stuff that's based on misunderstandings, and recognizing, yes, I am a part of God. God is love. How could I not be worthy and deserving of love? And all that other stuff was just a misunderstanding. It's like, oh, I got confused. I saw it this way, but that's not what it is. But we hang on to that because it becomes part of our identity, especially so many of these things were taken on when we're kids and we don't know any better. We're walking around and we're constantly asking a 3 or 4 year old, how should I make this decision? How we wouldn't logically do that. It's not like, oh, it's time for me to, change my stock portfolio. I think I'll go down to the kindergarten and ask the kids what they think I should invest in. But we're doing that with so many of our life decisions. And we're not because we're bad or stupid, but that's just how we're programmed to do it, and allowing ourselves to recognize, that those things that we might have believed as a child ain't necessarily so. And right up there with that is that feeling of I'm unworthy of love. And we may have been told that by someone. But and I'm going to invite folks, just be tapping, either tapping collarbone and point, or you can tap through different points, just because I really want you to clear any resistance to hearing this. It's like the idea for many, many years, they believed that the earth was flat. And you were in big trouble if you tried to say otherwise. But even though that was the belief, it was always a misunderstanding. The earth has always been round. Same with any belief about being unworthy. People might have told you that. They might have insisted on that. They may have been upset with you. They may have hit you if you tried to make a statement suggesting that you were worthy of love. But it's still always BS that you're not worthy of that. The earth is round. I'm sorry for any flat earthers out there. The earth is round. You are worthy and deserving of love. You are inherently worthy and deserving of love. And any argument against that is a misunderstanding that just hasn't been cleared up yet. And keep clearing that away, because as you get to that awareness, as you clear away what doesn't belong, you reveal the masterpiece that's inside. And then you're able to share that, the unique expression of divine love that you are. You're able to share that. That's why I do what I do. Is it's like I sometimes say my job is I'm a gift unwrapper. It's like Michelangelo was a gift unwrapper. He unwrapped the gifts that were inside the marble. With the tapping, we're unwrapping the gifts that are inside each of us. and then sharing that unique expression of God that each of us is with the world. And the world can't help but become a much better place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Right as I stopped tapping, it like all came into my leg again. So it's like I can feel it. It's like it wants to move. You know, it's like you're almost there. Just get out of there.
Yeah. And it's just looking at, okay, what else is still there? What part of me is still going, not yet. There's still a piece of the puzzle, without judgment, just getting curious, you know, and just saying, oh, isn't it interesting that there's still some part of me that doesn't feel ready yet to, you know, literally or figuratively step into that self that is free from those confines.
Totally.
You know, and that's the journey. Going, okay, ooh, what an adventure! Finding out why I might hang on to this discomfort, this fear, this belief, whatever it might be. You know, that fear of who would I be without this? You know, how many people have I told about this? And if I'm no longer talking about it, they'll say, "Who are you?" And they'll feel discomfort. So I owe it to them to be the same person, the same limited version of myself that I was yesterday, because I don't want to rattle any cages or anything like that. And all right, I'll just keep moving through that. It's not my job to make other people feel safe by limiting myself, and by making them feel safe with their limitations. Mm-hmm. Oh, you still have that thing in your leg? You still feel that resistance? You still have that bad habit? Oh, great. So then I'm okay holding on to my stuff, because as I let go of my stuff, as I step out of that, then other people are feeling uncomfortable. It's like we're all standing in the mud, and we're in the mud club. And if we step out, then the other people are going to say, "Oh, look at you! You think you're better than us?" Mm-hmm. And we say, "All right, I'll step down into the mud again." Mm-hmm. Like, no, step out and say, "No, you're not stuck in that." And the funny thing is, we often feel like that's the noble thing to do. Oh, I'm gonna stay. You know, if like for drinking, it's like, oh, my buddies, we all get together and drink, and if I stop drinking, and they're gonna say, "Oh, look at you." So who am I to do that? And that's the noble thing to do. It's not noble, because what we're doing then is we're saying, I have the capacity to move past that, to go to a higher level, but they don't. Mm-hmm. And so I should really sacrifice on their behalf. It's not noble to think of them as incapable of making that shift as well. Yeah. So be the trendsetter. Set yourself free.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I think for folks, you know, who are on that path of self-improvement, you know, it can be tough because they probably do get a lot of that kind of negative feedback. And it's like, man, you know, don't internalize that. That's those other folks projecting. It's them seeing, hey, you're capable of this. I'm not. Why am I not making these same improvements to my life?
Yeah. Yeah. Your advancement, your freedom feels threatening to them, because then they're feeling like, what's wrong with me that I'm not able to do it? And it's not that they're not able to do it. They just haven't gotten there yet. Just like the leg thing isn't fully gone yet. So it doesn't mean, well, I'm incapable of this. And anybody who, you know, maybe there's someone else listening who did have some physical discomfort that isn't there anymore. And now that makes me look bad by comparison. It's like, no, we're on totally different paths. We have no idea what's going on for someone else. We have no idea what needs to be unpacked for ourselves, much less anybody else. And so just looking and going, okay. And it's great if somebody else gets free, gets sober, gets rich, gets healthy faster than we do. It's like, all right, I'm inspired by that. They didn't have the same things going on that I had. They didn't have that accident as a child, or whatever circumstance that we've been through. You know, it's like you watch two people running down a track, and they both have a trunk behind them that's tied to their waist by a rope. Mm-hmm. And one person runs down the track really fast, and the other person is just plodding along. And it's very easy for the person ahead to go, you just don't have the willpower that I have. And or the person behind going, well, I just don't have the willpower that they have, or I don't have the circumstance. It's like, let's open those trunks. And the person behind has a lot more crap in that trunk. So, but we don't, you know, wear all that stuff on our sleeve. So we don't know. We're often not aware of what we're going through, and we definitely don't know what someone else is going through. Mm-hmm. So it's very easy. We're so programmed to go into judgment towards ourselves and others, but that judgment is based on total misunderstanding, total lack of understanding, total lack of knowledge about what's going on. But it comes from a place of feeling threatened. I feel in danger. And so I go to judgment as a way of escaping the discomfort that I feel. And allowing yourself to be totally compassionate, going, oh, okay, I'm going to judgment because I'm feeling threatened right now. I feel like attacking someone because I feel threatened right now. And I want to work through that. And I want to clear what doesn't feel like love. Sometimes that's the wording I'll use is I'll just be tapping through the point saying, I'm clearing what doesn't feel like love.
Yeah.
I'm clearing what doesn't feel like love.
Totally. Brad, this has been such an amazing conversation. You know, like I said, to kick it off, this is my first time ever tapping, but I'm already sold and I'm going to incorporate it into my daily routine.
Awesome. Thank you so much for, as earlier when you said, well, I don't know what the audience needs, but I know it. You have been a surrogate for the audience, and there's no telling the benefits. And the great thing about tapping is we can be tapping along with someone, even if the words don't match, we're still getting the benefits of tapping. So thank you for your willingness and your courage to step up with those things that have been holding you back. And thank you to everyone who's been willing to go through the tapping with us, because everything is energy. We are all connected. So the tapping that you've done is clearing up, is removing what doesn't feel like love in the collective whole. So thank you for participating in that.
Well, thank you, Brad, for teaching me and for teaching the audience and for everything you've been doing over the last several decades. I mean, just the exponential growth of your following, it's clear the impact you're having on the community. So thank you for teaching us all these amazing techniques.
Oh, I am blessed to get to do what I do.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. In this conversation, Brad discussed tapping as an emotional freedom technique and how this process, based on acupuncture, serves as a mind-body tool for down-regulating stress. That tapping our energy meridians serves as an effective method of physically resetting the body's fear response and resolving emotional resistance and trauma. One of my biggest criticisms of allopathic medicine is that it misunderstands the fundamental nature of the human physiology. Our paradigm of Western science focuses on the symptoms of disease rather than their cause. It fails to recognize that everything is energy and that our bodies have the innate ability to heal. It fails to recognize that good health does not come from addictive drugs or from removing tissue. Rather, it involves refining our nervous systems and maintaining strong circulatory systems. The tree of knowledge and the tree of life of the human physiology. During our tapping demonstration, I discussed how chiropractic has improved my health journey exponentially. Brad and I discussed specific areas of my nervous system where energy had come trapped or subluxated as a result of past trauma. I'd had profound downloads of understanding once the subluxations in my neck and hip had released, but had not yet healed the one in my right foot or understood its connection to the role wrath has played in my life. This interview is one of the most difficult that I've published. Tapping with Brad got my emotions and words flowing, and I went deep into personal issues. It's funny, calling out criminals who could ruin me financially thousands of times over has never scared me, but talking openly about times I've failed or experiences that have made me sad, that's another story. A few weeks after Brad and I recorded this interview, I attended Dr. Joe Dispenza's week-long meditation retreat in Denver. Shortly thereafter, the nervous system subluxation in my right foot released, and I understood the trauma that had caused it. My journey with energy healing and emotional freedom has reinforced that there is no bliss in ignorance, there is only ignorance. That in hindsight, the stars in the constellation of your life connect in ways more brilliant than you could have ever imagined. You find that through the relentless pursuit of truth, you'll recognize God's plan in everything and learn how to turn your worst weaknesses into your biggest strengths. And you'll remember that we're all undergoing the Michelangelo process, chipping away at the marble of life to reveal the masterpiece that's always been hidden inside. you.